Welcome. Welcome to our Lent course for 2021, Praying the Psalms. Like a tree planted by streams of water, bearing fruit in due season, with leaves that do not wither. This is a line from Psalm 1, the first in the Old Testament book of Psalms, and it holds out a promise. We too can live life like that tree, with our roots well down into a spiritual source of living water that will never fail us, whatever happens. I hope that this course on learning to pray with the Psalms will help you to live like this. It took me many, many years to even begin to appreciate the Psalms. As a teenager, they seemed both boring and interminable, something at best to be got through. Many, indeed, are difficult. They are ancient writings that come from another world. There is a tradition that some were written by King David, but in truth, we cannot know who wrote them. In this course, I have referred to the writer simply as the psalmist. But we do know that they were part of the worship life of ancient Israel. They were the prayers of Jesus, who often quotes them. And because of this, they have always been part of the worshipping life of the church. St. Benedict made them the centre of the monastic life, and Cranmer gave them to the Church of England in the Book of Common Prayer. Their inestimable value for us today is that the psalmist assumes a direct relationship with an always faithful God, before whom they can be entirely honest about everything that concerns them. The Psalms are poetry containing stunning imagery and beautiful phrases that we can allow to resonate within us and bring us too into a more intimate and honest relationship with the God who loves us. This course will follow the many seasons of life so we can bring it all to God. Each video will focus on one psalm. In the two introductory videos, in Psalm 1, we will be faced with a decision as to whether we wish to live our lives in relationship with God. And in Psalm 19, we will learn of and wonder at God's majesty and goodness. In the first week of Lent, we will share the psalmist's longing to come closer to God. Week 2, we'll look at our experiences of disaster and how to cry to God from the depths of our despair, even when God seems most absent. In week 3, we will look at psalms that help us to trust in God, whatever happens. And in week 4, at psalms that speak of a deep intimacy with our loving God. We will end with psalms that express the joy of our thanks and praise for all that God has done for us. Having said all that, each short video will stand alone. So if you want just to key into some favourite psalms, you are very welcome to do so. In each video, I will introduce and reflect on the psalm and highlight a verse or phrase. We will then reread the psalm and meditate on that phrase. I hope that you may then wish to spend more time on your own in this prayer. Prayer brings us before God so he can transform us and our world. It has been described as the only necessary thing. Mother Julian tells us how God delights in our prayer, however imperfect it may seem to us. She says that whenever we spend time in prayer, it makes God glad and happy. You will get the most from the videos if you have available the words of the psalm. I will use the Common Worship version from this book, Daily Prayer, which, although a modern translation, keeps the lovely cadences of the poetry and especially written to be prayed. You will also find a link to the words for the week on St. Peter's website, and they are available on the Church of England's website under Common Worship Resources. I have found 2 books so helpful with my own understanding and praying of the Psalms, and I can recommend them for further reading. They are Life in the Psalms by Patrick Woodhouse and Reflections on the Psalms, available from Church House Publishing. At the end of the course, I can provide a book list of further reading for anyone who would like one. So let's begin. If you click on the link for video 2, we will begin to get our roots down into that living water. May the Lord bless you this Lent and come close to you in love.